struggling to make ends meet. And lo and behold, I learned these strategies, and I'm going to teach you all just a basic understanding of the strategies that I learned, and it literally changed my life. You know, number one, I had over $100,000 of debt, believe it or not. And I was able to eliminate all $100,000 of debt in just 1 year. So I didn't say I didn't say consolidate, I said eliminate. So I'm going to show you some strategies that can help you do the same, because God is not a respecter of person. He did it for me, He can definitely do it for you as well. I also had a time where I had a 520 credit score, and I was able to get that part-time. Even though I have a full-time job, I was able to do that part-time. So I'm telling you that even though you may have a full-time job, you can still build wealth with a part-time business of your choice. And so let's go ahead and dive into this. I want you all to write down these three numbers: 2, 4, and 3. 2, 4, and 3. I'm going to use those numbers to kind of basically give you a foundation of how you can build wealth. So let's talk about the 2 first. There are 2 basic objectives that everyone's trying to accomplish every single day. Tell me if you all agree. The first objective is people are trying to go to a job or a business to earn enough income to provide for their current lifestyle. So think about it: clothes that you wear, the house that you live in, the food that you eat, that has to be paid for some way, and most people pay for that from the money they make from a job or a business. Would you all agree?
Yes.
The second objective that people are trying to accomplish is, while they're working that job or business, they're trying to simultaneously put enough money in some type of asset or investment so that when they retire, their money works for them instead of them working for the money. Would you all agree with that as well? You see people investing in stocks, bonds, mutual funds, IRAs, annuities, 401ks, so that when they get off of that job, they want to be in a position, again, where their money's working for them instead of them working for the money. Now let's deal with the 4. There are 4 financial challenges that are stopping people from building wealth. 4. There's probably more, but I'm going to talk about 4 in detail today that's causing people to live paycheck to paycheck, and in some cases live in poverty. First one, inflation. Inflation is what I call the silent killer, because inflation hurts you, but most people don't see it hurting them because inflation creeps up on you. Here's an example of inflation. If you were making $7 an hour in 1990 and you're making $14 an hour today, truth be told, technically you still make $7 an hour. Why do I say that? Because even though your paycheck went up, so did the cost of daycare, so did the cost of food, so did the cost of housing. So your paycheck went up an inch when inflation went up a foot. You'll never get ahead financially if you don't do anything to outpace inflation. That's number 1. Number 2, taxes. Taxes is one of the biggest bills you pay outside of your mortgage and your car note. In fact, you lose about 1/3 of your hard-earned income to taxes. And in some cases, it's more than 1/3 of your hard-earned income is gone right off the top before you even get a chance to spend any of the money that you earn on that job. Number 3, debt. Debt comes in and takes the second third of your income. Now, I like to call debt the prison guard. And big business prays that you don't understand capitalism. So let's talk about big business for a minute. Every month, big business realizes there's a holiday, so guess what big business does? New Year. Because they've been working on that body all year long, so they want to make sure they look good, so you're going to spend money there. April, Easter sales. We're going to spend money because we're going to make sure we get our Sunday's best to look good in church. So we're going to spend money on those suits, dresses, and those fancy hats. So that's our money gone right there. Then we got May, Mother's Day. We're going to make sure we take care of our mom. They've been good to us all our lives, so we're going to take care of our mom, so we're going to spend money right out of our pocket. Followed behind that is June, Father's Day. We're going to take care of our dads. And guess what? We're going to spend money and spend money and spend money. July, 4th of July sales. And guess what? People buy fireworks not just for 4th of July. They pop those fireworks all week long. So you're going to spend money there. Then you got August, back to school sales. Those kids want the latest and the greatest. They want the Jordans. They want the fancy outfits. So guess what we're going to do? Spend money there. September, Labor Day sales. That's normally the day before kids go back to school, so we spend money on that one last trip, so that's money going on our pocket there. October, Halloween sales. You know those kids want those costumes, so we can spend money on those costumes, and some of those adults go to Halloween costume parties too, so we can spend money there as well. Then November, they get you big time. I want you to really think about November. Thanksgiving sales. You want that turkey, you want that ham, you want those mashed potatoes, you want that potato pie, you want it all, you want to spend money there. Then on the next day is Black Friday, we're going to spend money at the stores on Black Friday. Then Saturday is Small Business Saturday, so we're going to spend money there. Then Sunday, they say if you missed a sale for Black Friday, we extended it a few more days, we're going to spend money there. Then Monday is Cyber Monday, so we're going to spend money there. And then finally we got December. Christmas sales. I dare you to walk in that house with no gifts under that tree for them kids. Them kids gonna flip that tree upside down. Okay. So all year long, you see we spend money all throughout the year. And I didn't talk about anniversary sales, graduation sales, birthday sales. So now you see those 4 challenges right there is one of the main reasons why we are living paycheck to paycheck, and in some cases, living in poverty. Yeah. Let's talk about the 3. There are 3 things you can do to help you build wealth. I'm going to talk a little bit more than 3, but let's talk about 3 things you can do. The first thing you can do is you can income shift. And what I mean income shift is we got to shift the income that was going to the government and the creditors back into our pocket where it belongs. So how can we do it for the government? Do you know there's a form called the W-4 that many people fill out when they first start their job? The government says that 80% of Americans have that W-4 filled out incorrectly. And so by having it filled out incorrectly, we are losing money. And so what many people do is they go on that form, they don't know how to do it, so they make up these numbers and they end up getting money at the end of the year and they're excited about that. Nothing wrong with that, but let's talk about the word refund. Re means again, fund means money. So when you get a refund, what that means is you simply overpaid your taxes. So what we teach is, instead of overpaying your taxes, why don't you learn how to correctly adjust your W-4 so you can have your money now so that you can use that money to pay off debt or invest. See, it's the same money, but instead of waiting to the end of the year, you're getting it now. See, when you wait to the end of the year, you're giving the government interest-free loan. They take your hard-earned money, they invest it, they make thousands of dollars of interest over your money, refund you a percentage of your money, and then you get happy about that $5,000. But you probably gave them $6,000 to $7,000 throughout the whole year. So we want to teach you how to get that money now so you can start using that money for your use and help you build wealth instead of helping your credit build wealth. Second thing is credit. Many people don't understand the importance of great credit.
Yeah, I need credit.
Yes, you know, we are hard on our kids about keeping good grades, but the question is, are we keeping good grades with our own credit? What is your grade for your credit score? Is it an A? Is it a B? Is it a C? Are we just as hard on ourselves as we are hard on our kids? So what can we do to fix credit? I want you to write these things down. I'm going to give you 6 things that you can do to fix your credit. Number 1, the first thing you want to do is go to annualcreditreports.com. Annualcreditreports.com. That's a website that you can go to that will allow you to get access to your credit reports for free. Say, if it's for free, it's for me. So, normally, annualcreditreport.com only allows you to pull your credit report once a year. That's why it's called annual. But when COVID came on the scene, a lot of people were going through identity theft, so they now changed the rule where you can pull your credit reports once a week. So you can pull all 3 of them for free once a week. Now, how long will they do that? I don't know. It's been like that for about 2 years now, so they may keep it that way, or they may go back to annually. So while you have the opportunity, go ahead and do it. You want to go ahead and do that quick. I always tell people that procrastination is the assassination to your destination. I'm going to say that again. Procrastination is the assassination to your destination. So do not procrastinate trying to get your credit reports. Number 2, the second thing you want to do is you want to freeze something called secondary bureaus. Now, when I say secondary bureaus, I'm not talking about Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. Those are your primary credit reporting agencies. But there are companies like LexisNexis that's out there that the credit bureaus are getting information from that you want to freeze, so that blocks them from getting your information. So there's two of them: LexisNexis, Innovis. LexisNexis, Innovis. INNOVIS. So you can go to Google and type freeze LexisNexis, freeze Innovis. They'll give you a link. You'll go hit to that link and you'll be able to freeze those secondary bureaus. Why is that important? When you start sending disputes in to Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian, the very first place they go to validate or verify your information is those two companies there. If you freeze them, you block access from Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian from getting your personal information, which makes it harder for them to validate, which makes it good in your case to help you get items removed, updated, or removed from your credit report. Very, very important. Innovis, LexisNexis. Innovis and LexisNexis. Those two you want to freeze. Now you say, how long should I keep those secondary bureaus frozen? You can keep them frozen indefinitely, because when you are applying for credit, they're not pulling Innovis and LexisNexis, they're pulling Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. So by freezing those two companies, it's not going to stop you from getting approved for credit. So again, you can keep them frozen as long as you like. Another thing is this: it takes about a week and a half to 2 weeks for the freeze to take effect. So once you freeze it, you'll get a letter in the mail about 2 weeks later letting you know that those two particular bureaus are frozen. So you got to wait till those bureaus are frozen before you go on to the next step. Number 3, you want to go ahead and check for errors on your credit report. So you want to go through your credit report with a fine-tooth comb and understand these 3 letters: IOU. If the information in your credit report is inaccurate, outdated, or unverifiable, those items must be removed. So again, IOU, remember, inaccurate, outdated, or unverifiable, those items must be removed. So there are people that had things on their credit report like a bankruptcy or collection that you've heard stories. They said, how in the world did you get it removed from your credit report? Because that item might have been inaccurate, outdated, or unverifiable. Let me give you an example. We had a gentleman that filed a Chapter 13 bankruptcy. Chapter 13, there's a Chapter 7, there's a Chapter 13. He filed a Chapter 13. When he pulled his credit report, they were reporting it as a Chapter 7. That is inaccurate, right? So when he sent in his dispute, they ended up removing the bankruptcies from his credit report because they were reporting inaccurate information. Remember, everything on your credit report has to be 100% accurate. Not 90, not 80, not 70, 100%. So that's why you want to go through your credit report and check for any type of error that may be on your credit. Maybe the date that you open an account is wrong. Maybe the courthouse that you filed a bankruptcy is wrong. Anything that is inaccurate, outdated, or unverifiable must be removed from your credit report by law.
Outdated, like how long? Is there like a time or like?
So each state has something called a statute of limitations. So if you Google your state, it'll tell you how long that statute of limitations is. If it's past that statute of limitations, it has to be removed. Yes. Number 4, start the dispute process. We have letters that we provide people that will actually help you get items removed, updated, or corrected on your credit report. So you have to be patient with the process. People say, how long will it take me to get my credit repaired? I always tell people, you didn't get into bad credit overnight, so don't expect to get out of it. I'm going to say that again. You didn't get into bad credit overnight, so don't expect to get out of it overnight. See, so many people want that microwave result. They want something done quick, fast, in a hurry, but it don't work that way. It may take some people 30 days, it may take some people 60, 90, it may take you a year to get your credit fixed. But you have to be patient with the process. So that's number 4. There are dispute letters that use laws that help you get items removed from your credit report. Number 5, this is very, very important. Another thing that hurts your score is the amount of debt is too high on your credit. So you want to make sure you keep your credit utilization under 10%. Keep your credit utilization under 10%. The higher your credit utilization, the lower your credit score is going to take effect. I'll give you an example. I have a gentleman that had a score of 704. He was doing great. He ended up buying a house, and then the house had a lot of damage, so he got a credit card that gave him $20,000, where he charged the card to $18,190. His score dropped from a 700 to the 600s. Why? Because his credit utilization was 90% and beyond. You want to keep your credit utilization under 10% or less if you want your score to continue to go up in the 700s to the 800s. Very, very important.
Of the limits or of your income? 10%?
The limits. 10% limit. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Can you give another example? That's
Yes.
how you went over my head.
Yes. Okay. Let's say you had a credit card that had a limit of 5,000. So 10% of that is 500. Your goal is to make sure you don't charge your credit card over 500.
Okay.
Once it starts going over 500, your score is going to start to go down. Keep your credit utilization under 10% or less, if possible. Do not get rid of credit cards. Many people think that, oh, maybe I just paid off and get rid of it. No, keep your credit cards. One, you never know, you might have an emergency, even though your credit cards should not be your emergency fund. But until you get to that point, you want to keep them, but make sure you pay them on time, of course. But you want to make sure that you keep them open, because when you close the account, it looks kind of bad on your account, because it feels like, hey, why did you close the account? You want to show some history. That's another thing that affects your score, is your credit history. So keep your credit cards open. Then number 6 is something that's very important. What other things can we do to build credit? So I don't know if you all know this, but if you live in an apartment, there are some companies out there that can help report your rent payments. Many people are paying their rent payments on time, but the only benefit they're getting is a roof over their head, which is a blessing. But how would you like to get those rent payments reported to your credit bureau? So there's companies like Rental Karma, rentalkarma.com, that can go back as far as 10 years of rental history. So imagine if you've been living in an apartment over 10 years, paying your rent on time, that 10 years of rental history can be reported to your credit report to help you build wealth. Another thing, if you have kids, it's always good to add them on as an authorized user. You don't have to give them the credit card, of course. You don't want them to go crazy with it, but you can add them as an authorized user to help build their credit as well. Also, speaking of Rental Karma, that's a good way to build credit for your kids. Is if they're paying rent, sometimes you have your 16-year-old or 17-year-old paying rent. Well, go to Rental Karma and have those rent payments reported for them, so that's going to help build credit for them at an early age. So these are just a couple of things when it comes to credit that can really help you really take your credit to the next level. So that's credit. Let's talk about the next thing that's very important, is debt elimination. You definitely want to eliminate your debt, not consolidate your debt, but eliminate your debt. Here's a blessing that happened to me. That $100,000 debt that I was telling you about, it was costing me $2,400 a month to service that debt every month. But because I eliminated the debt, that $2,400 a month is now coming to me instead of the creditor. So you want to put a big focus on eliminating debt, so that can create another stream of income for you and your household. Very, very important. The next thing we want to talk about is investing. I'm not here to talk about what to invest in. There's tons of companies like T. Rowe Price, Fidelity, and Vanguard that you can go to that will definitely help you, put you in a position to invest. But I want to talk about the importance of investing. Many people don't understand the importance of making sure that you pay yourself as well. We use something called, I don't know if you know this, 10-10-80. First of all, 10% should go to God. Always. I always tell people 10% God, everything you have is given to you by God. So of course the first person you need to pay is God. 10% goes to Him. Now some people say, well, I may not be into God. Well, 10% to some type of charity at least. But you want to get, see, tithe should not be something that you pay. Because when you say pay, it feels like it's a bill. Tithe is something that you give. It's a good feeling when you give somebody something. That's a blessing. So 10% first goes to God. The next 10% goes to you. If it's good for God, it's good for His creation as well. So you need to make sure you pay yourself first. Second. So once you pay yourself, make sure you take care of yourself, because you do a lot of work. You go to work every day. That's a lot of work. And you're dealing with a lot of negativity sometimes at work. So you want to make sure you pay yourself. And then 80% is for your bills. You want to go ahead and make sure you become debt-free, pay those bills. So very, very important. So 10-10-80. 10% to God, 10% to His creation, which is you, and then 80% to start paying all of your bills. Very, very important. The next thing I want to talk to you all about is entrepreneurship. It's very important to have multiple streams of income. Many people only have one stream of income, and one stream of income is too close to none. See, the worst thing that can happen is we go through another thing where you saw that COVID caused many people to lose their job or lose hours on their job. And if they only have one stream of income, they put themselves in a risky position. So I tell people, think about job as this. I'm thankful for my job. I love my job. I always tell people, be thankful for your job, but you don't have to be satisfied. Well, here's what I mean. When you look at the word J-O-B, let's talk about that for a minute. When you first wake up in the morning, you J-O-B. You jump out of bed. You brush your teeth. You comb your hair. You get in your car, and you J-O-B again. You jump on the beltway. Some of you 30 minutes, hour, 2 hours, based on where you live and where you work. You get all the way to work, your boss gives you a check that you got to J-O-B, you got to juggle it over bills. Some of those bills are just crazy, and you just like, man, I gotta get into a position where I'm debt free. And then you worked 40 plus years on a job, and you're like, man, I've been on a journey of the growth. It's a blessing to have a job. I always tell people, a job should be a comma in a sentence, not the period in a sentence. Said it again, a job should be a comma in a sentence, not the period in a sentence. So you gotta have multiple streams of income. And so there's several different ways you can do that. You can get yourself a brick and mortar business, open up a cookie store, open up a bakery, whatever you want. That's a good thing to do. Or you can get an online business, which we provide, where you have an opportunity to have an online website where you can earn some part-time, full-time, or spare time income, with the startup cost being just $25. So we show people how to earn additional income without stopping their current job. I tell people, do not stop your job. Be thankful for it. Just don't be satisfied. Continue to work your job, because your job is kind of basically a blessing to you, because it's helping you pay your bills. So don't get rid of your job. The money from your job is great, but I'm just telling you that it's very important to have multiple streams of income, because if your job slows down, guess what's going to happen? Your income's going to slow down. God forbid your job stops, your income's going to stop. So we have to make sure we position ourselves with multiple streams of income. And in closing, I'll say this. When it comes to entrepreneurship, you're going to have some ups and you're going to have some downs. But I want you to write this down as well. There are 4 seasons of success. 4 seasons of success. The first season is the season of preparation. To be successful in any business, I don't care if it's a brick and mortar, I don't care if it's online, you have to get prepared. So how do you prepare yourself for business? Number 1, you got to invest in yourself. You got to buy business cards. You got to buy brochures. You got to make sure you prepare for when people come and ask you what do, you have something that you can offer them to give them some information. You got to get a website. That's preparation. You also got to prepare yourself for the word no. Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, you are going to hear the word no. Not everyone's going to buy your product or services and do what you do. So you got to prepare yourself for the word no. But here's what no stands for. No stands for next one, next opportunity, or sometimes they don't know enough to buy your product or service or move forward with you. But don't take it personal. It's okay, because in due time they may change their mind. It just may not be the time now. Just hold on. God is going to come through for you and give you somebody else that may want your product or service. So that's number 1, the season of preparation. The next season is the season of planting. You have to plant seeds, and you have to plant them consistently. See, the problem is many people give up too soon, because they say, hey, I've given 10 people, 20 people, 30 people my cards, and no one won't buy my product or services. You have to just continue to plant seeds and plant them consistently. Some days you will plant on good ground, and unfortunately, some days you will plant on bad ground. But your job is to continue to plant them. See, many people want things so quick. You know, the only seeds I've seen that grew overnight was Jack and the Beanstalk. And we all know that was a fairy tale. So you just got, your job is to plant them and plant them consistently. So how can you plant seeds? Those business cards, pass them out. Those brochures, pass them out. Social media, learn it, use it to your advantage. Many people say, man, I'm just not good at social media. Learn it. YouTube University, that's why I call YouTube University. Go to YouTube and say, how do I work social media? You can learn anything and everything from YouTube. My mom was looking to put some floor down in her house. She went to YouTube and put her own floor down, saved thousands of dollars from YouTube. So yes, if she can learn how to do that in her house, you can definitely learn how to do that on social media. So plant seeds and plant them consistently. The third season is the season of pruning. This is a tough season for people because guess what? This is the season where you have to let some people go. You know, the Bible says life and death is in the power of the tongue. And so many of us continue to allow negative people to speak death into our ear, and we continue to give up on our business. The word no has caused so many people to give up on their dreams and their goals. You have to let some people go. I'm not saying unfriend them, but sometimes when they start talking negative, you got to get up and walk out the room. You don't want to continue to sit there and let that soak into your ear. And you know what else you got to let go? We got to let go of excuses. So many of us let excuses stop us from having success in our business. I'm too tired. I've been dealing with the kids. I've been at work all day. I've been doing overtime. And we're making all these excuses, and now we're wondering why we're not having success in our business. We got to let go of these excuses if we want to build wealth.
Right.
Fourth one is the season of prosperity. This is what people look forward to. They say, oh man, all the seeds I've been planting, man, now I get a chance to see those seeds grow. But be careful in that season, because a lot of times we end up making so much money, but we forget to invest back into our business. And next thing you know, we're finding ourselves in debt because we're buying liabilities instead of assets. Very, very important.
I have a question.
Sure.
When you say some people say no, right?
Yes.
I kind of accept no for an answer, and I don't really accept it too well. But how about if we change the no to like negotiable offers? Because then instead of that no, it could turn into that maybe, and it's like that pull. Like,
yes.
Okay, at least I got you now, huh?
Yes,
You
yes,
know?
yes.
I'm a saleswoman. I'm gonna do it all.
There's a book called Go for No. And
Go for
in
No.
that book, Go for No, I forgot who the author is, he talks about the importance of no, because that no is getting me that much closer to my yes. So
Yeah.
yes, I need you to tell me no. I need you to hurry up. I need everybody to say no so I can get that much closer to my yes. So that's another good book, Go for No. Now, these last three things, and then I'm done, and I'm out of the way. To be successful in business, you need these three things. Number one, durability. You have to be strong, ladies and gentlemen. As we stated, you're going to hear a word no. You're going to have long hours. You're going to have days when you feel like giving up, but you got to push forward and continue, because you got to understand, man, I got a future that is waiting for me. See, some of us giving up too soon when the blessing is just right around the corner. Just give it. You got to run on and see what the end going to be. But some of us are giving up too soon. So you got to be strong when it comes to entrepreneurship. So we talk about durability. Now you got to talk about flexibility. You got to be flexible. You got to be flexible with your time. You got to be flexible with the way you market. All these things got to be changed, because you're turning into a new person. See, what I've learned a long time ago is a lot of people don't understand that they are definitely a blessing. God has blessed you with a gift, and some of us are holding back from that gift, and we got to let go. We got to make sure that we put God first, and when you put Him first, everything else is going to be added to you. And the last thing, we talk about durability, we talk about flexibility, but here's the most important one that you need, we all need, accountability. You need to have an accountability partner that's going to hold you accountable for your success. See, when I'm in the gym, when I'm working out, I may be able to get under the bench press and maybe lift 10 times. But when I have that spotter, that accountability partner, he may push me to do 15 times. And I'm like, man, I didn't know I could do that. You need that type of person in your business to hold you accountable. How many business cards did you pass out this week? How many brochures did you pass out this week? How many calls did you make? That kind of person is going to hold you accountable, and that's going to push you to your destiny. So in closing, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for you to reach your greatness. You know, we talked about procrastination is the assassination to your destination. One of the biggest nations in the world that people live in is procrastination. And if you are living in procrastination, I am here to be your alarm clock to encourage you to move.
Okay.
So thank you all so much. I appreciate you. I hope that something I said can be a blessing to you and to your family and your friends. And I look forward to seeing you all at the beaches of the world. God bless you.
God bless you. Thank you.
Before he leaves, I want to first invite the floor to ask any questions.
problem.
You all kind of-
So I'm really nosy, right? And I got myself in some debts. Like debts as in like, you know, like getting evicted and stuff, and also student loans. So I'm curious, how did your debt add to that? Like what debts did you have?
Good question. So I had 2 cars. So one car was 30,000, another one was like 35. So that was 60,000 right there of my debt. Then I had some credit card debt because I was in the same situation as my friend where I bought a house where it needed a lot of work. So I used my credit card to fix up the whole house. And then some of it was just some personal debt of mine, just credit card use, homes, stuff. Trying to keep up with the Joneses, and then realizing that some of the Joneses are just as broke as you are. So that's how I got myself into that debt. But I made up my mind. I said, if I keep doing what I'm doing, I'm gonna keep getting what I'm getting. Let me give you a quick story. There was this guy walking down in the woods one day, and as he was walking, he would always pass his house with a farmer. And the farmer had a dog that was sitting there, and every time he passed that house, the dog was howling. So day number 1, he walked by, the dog was howling. He go back the same way, see the same farmer, the same dog was howling again. The 3rd day, he walked by, seen the same farmer, same dog, the dog was howling. The guy got curious. He said, "Can I ask you something? Why is your dog howling every single time I walk by?" He said, "Well, he's sitting on a rusty nail." He said, "Well, why don't he just move?" He said, "It don't hurt him bad enough." See, some of us are just like that dog. We complaining about our situation, but it don't hurt us bad enough to do something about it. We got to move on that rusty nail, whether it's get another business, get another job, but we got to do something different, because if we keep doing what we're doing, we're going to keep getting what we're getting. And if you are tired of being sick and tired, I encourage you to do something different.
Okay.
You mentioned about a program that you do to teach like how to do a side business. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes, so I'm part of a company called My Econ, and My Econ stands for My Economy. It's a 20-year-old company, debt-free, an A+ rating company. And what we do is for $25, we'll build you a website the same day. And everyone's website looks the same, it's cookie cutter. And that website gives you credit repair, it gives you debt elimination software, it gives you an opportunity to sell different products like travel, identity theft protection, credit repair, record keeping tool, and it also gives you education about investing. So that the business is $25, and then 30 days later it's a monthly fee of $40.95 a month. That covers the website fee, that covers the hosting of the website, it also covers all the updates that they do to the website. No cancellation fees. If you ever say to yourself, "Oh, you know what? I'm done. I don't need it no more," you get canceled on the website, and it's canceled right away. But it gives you the opportunity to have tax deductions where you can now write off your lifestyle. You get a chance to earn some extra income without stopping what you're currently doing. I've been doing it now for over 10 years. Cash flow 6 figures, part-time. I've been able to eliminate $100,000 in debt. Got my credit score to an 804, and now I have a true emergency fund. Because I was that person that was using my credit cards as an emergency fund, but I now have investments where I actually have a true emergency fund. So it's $25 one time, and then 30 days later, $40.95 a month. And I can tell you a little bit more about that as well too.
Yeah. Right, thank you.
Question. So, my husband and I were about homeowners, first homeowners. We're excited, nerve-wracking. This region, first off, is like competitive, very high prices, interest rates, and so we had to grapple with a lot of things in the process. Just your thoughts about like. We came to terms with like there'd never be really a perfect time to buy again, but try to buy what we could with what we had, you know, even if it wasn't what we hoped for in all areas. Kind of like there's so much advice about like how much the mortgage should be compared to your income, or like because it is like a big investment. It is like a big chunk of debt, like for us that we don't have that kind of debt. But just thoughts at home buying, kind of recommendations in this area. I know it's just
yes,
crazy.
I've heard that interest rates will get ready to come down, but I also heard this. I'm gonna give you a good place to go through for people that's first-time home buyers. There's a company called, I don't know if you all heard of it, it's NACA, NACA. NACA. NACA covers your closing costs and your down payment, so that allows you not to have any money come out of your pocket. And they have a set interest rate that's like, I think it was like, last time I checked, I don't know if it's changed, it was like 5 point something or 6%. So it's a very low interest rate, but they allow you to choose your home, but no down payment, no closing costs, and they also put you in a position that they'll get you put some extra money to the side. So if you ever feel like you're about to get evicted or something, they'll be able to help cover your eviction as far as you not getting evicted. So NACA is a great program if you haven't heard of it. Have you heard of it before? And if you get a chance, Neighborhood Assistance Corporation of America. NACA.
We have 2 weeks from closings.
Oh, you want to
Yeah, 2 weeks from closings. Right.
Okay, to save some money.
No.
But yes, I definitely encourage you. I'm proud of you for getting ready to close on a house. That's definitely a blessing because that's tax deductions right there. And
I don't know.
it definitely is.
It's just like it's a leap of faith, but also like, yeah, it's just this region is so like
Yes.
it's hard, and so
Yes.
I don't know if it's like 30%. Like we try to keep our mortgage payments under 30% of our income, or like
Yes.
what certain like numbers to keep in mind. Like,
So there's a lot of variables that come into play because then how much the house is, where you live at. So there's a lot of variables. There's really no set number because it's so many other variables that got to come into play for that. But I always tell people, you definitely want to look at your debt, look at your income to ratio, and make sure that you're not putting yourself in a position where you got more debt than income.
it's like with mortgage being the one that like.
Yes.
I wish we could pay that mortgage up front, but yeah,
Congratulations again.
Yeah, are you in favor of trying to get a loan or a grant through Small Business Administration? Have you ever worked with the government on that?
I had a friend that did that, and he was in favor of it. He said he had some great success from it. So I basically off of what he said, I think it's a great idea.
If they haven't fired all.
Yes, yes. Is that so true? Yes.
Maybe look into it.
Yes. My friend, in fact, I had 2 friends that had success with it, and I highly recommend it. They haven't said anything negative to me about it.
I'm trying to launch a business with marketing, evaluation, helping people get a business plan
Yes.
in advertising for sales,
Yes.
and then coming up with a business plan to help them know what kind of campaigns they can run.
Yes.
So I haven't made any money at it. There's one course I want to finish,
Yes.
but do you advise me to probably go and make some money first and then apply to small business, or?
It works in your favor if you do, because it shows that you have income. It's better if you do have some sort of income. Let them see that you actually have a business and not a hobby. So I would recommend definitely.
Okay, great.
And I definitely want to talk to you because advertising is very important for any business. And so see if there's something that we can do to help you as far as getting some clients as well.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yep. Any other questions?
I need your help with spelling those 2 companies when you want to freeze something.
Oh yes, LexisNexis L.
I'm slow.
No, that's okay. LexisNexis is LEXIS.
Wait a minute, LEXIS.
And Nexus is NEXIS.
NEXIS.
IS. And Innovis is INNOVIS.
So just go online, pull these up.
Yep, you can go to Google and then type in freeze LexisNexis and then go again freeze Innovis, and they'll give you a link. The link will come, you just click on that link. It's like an application. It's going to ask you to fill in this application, and then it's going to ask you for a copy of your license and maybe an electric bill, a utility bill. and then it takes about 2 weeks for them to freeze it.
And it's free?
It's free, no cost. You'll get a letter in the mail saying that the barrel is frozen, and they'll give you a 4-digit PIN that tells you, so if you ever decide you want to unfreeze it, you got to use those 4 digits that they give you to unfreeze it. But again, you don't have to unfreeze them. You can keep them frozen indefinitely, but it's your choice. It's not going to affect you at all if you
So
keep
what's the purpose of freezing?
So when you start sending your dispute letters in to Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian, the first place they normally go to verify your debt is through them. If you freeze them, it blocks them from being able to get information, so it makes it harder for them. And a lot of times, if it's harder for them, they end up removing the items in your credit.
Okay.
So you just your goal is trying to make the job of the credit bureaus a little tougher. Not saying there's other ways to get around freezing, but it's just one of the ways that can kind of slow down the process for them.
It protects your identity, like if someone's trying
Yes,
to like
yes,
make an
that too.
account on your behalf, they can like
Yes.
identity theft. If someone gets your info on the dark web, they can
Yes,
make
yes. Another question. I'll turn it back over to you, Tammy. Thank you. You're welcome.
All right, you have heard it from Kentucky, a teacher of financial literacy. And just to share a little of my story. I'm sorry. Over when I was around 33 years of age, God began to deal with me with vision. I began to have open visions, but over that time, He began to show me a world where entrepreneurs dominated. There were more entrepreneurs than workers, and of course, that wasn't seen in the moment. But here, almost 30 years later, I see what God was doing. Right? And you need to know that as children of God, the gifts and talents that each of us have in us are important. As Keith said, you can work a job. And I don't know if he mentioned this, but I know he always says just overboard. You can work a job, or while you take interest in as an entrepreneur in your own business or your own talent that is within you, or if you're able to focus on just entrepreneurship, that is well. I myself graduated from Xavier University with a degree in accounting. I then moved to New York, where I worked in retirement fund planning for a major advertising agency. After that, they then relocated to Charlotte, and I continued working with them there. But around, as I said, 33, I began to shift. My life began to shift, major shift. I lost my mother, and some other things were happening. And I had a moment to see, to pause, and to say, God, what is really going on? What should I do? And He began to reveal. As I said, open visions, different things began to happen. And around 2012, I crossed the path of Pete Tucker's organization through one of his other business partners. And just connecting with that community, I began to verify a lot of the principles I had already known through it, and finding how important financial literacy was. But the key thing was personal financial success. You have to take care of yourself. Personal financial success. Oftentimes we're looking outward, but it is time, and even always was, to not have all of these cells, as he said, distracting us, and to focus on yourself. We did a book here at the ministry called Soul Care, where we have to look at taking care of ourselves, our mind, our will, and our emotions. But in doing so, again, living the best life, do you know how that looks? As I drifted from accounting, as God even gifted me with the gift of grading, I became a grader, I became a real estate person, I became so many things that my life just kept shifting me into different levels and aspects of entrepreneurship. So now, even as I was shifted into ministry as well, I began to see, even from that background community, even here with Cindy Mills Ministries, we move in Gulf Springs area and the Alamos, it's a broader perspective of what I did now see as God's vision for my life. And we each have a vision, we each have a gift, a talent that we should sharpen and share. As you know, that is what brings you peace, what brings you, magnifies your purpose, brings you joy, brings healing, things of that nature. We're all on our individual journeys, and each journey is important. So this is why we wanted to bring this particular focus of this Let's Connect entrepreneurship kingdom business, resurrecting the entrepreneur in you. So we hope that you have enjoyed it. We are now about to wrap up to some degree. We're about to begin to close down and just to give you a portion of this, and we can continue to fellowship and share because that's what is important as well. We wanted to focus on a few things that we have done here at the ministry, or that we're doing at the ministry. Recently, we just finished a mastermind, Let's Connect, where we had a powerful discussion, a small group discussion regarding the workplace and navigating those types of things. We do that annually. We had a cruise connect, and we're building that into the platform regarding the entrepreneur who needs to take a break. Okay, you need to rest. That is part of the soul care. That's something that is necessary as well. So those events are there, but also May is our month of May Lady Boss, where we actually delve deeper into entrepreneurship. Oftentimes, our board member, Casey Sharpperson, will handle that particular part of the platform. So this was just a kickoff for a continued threading of the importance of being your own boss, being in control of your life, the different things that you may not have known, as Keith said, about the income tax, adjusting the W-4, something as simple as that, returning the money back to you and beginning to understand how money works. Because the society and the world at large is shifting and moving into other aspects, and even the changing of currency, whether that would be Bitcoin or digital currency, all those things are happening, all those things are present. And we don't want to be so-called behind the 8 ball, okay? You want to be helping your family, leading your family, showing your family the different ways that they can navigate through financial situations. So again, thank you for coming out to the Let's Connect. Let's continue the discussion in the room. If you have any questions, Keith is still present with us for a little while, to forward. And again, resurrect the entrepreneur with you. But I want to also leave you with this scripture. It's one that I heard recently. It's Ecclesiastes 11:2. And again, not limiting yourself to, as he stated, just like the job and one business, but God's vision. If you read Ecclesiastes 11:2, it says, give a portion to 7, okay, and also to 8. For you do not know what evil shall come upon the earth. In other words, several streams of income, that's what he's talking about. But also, even on a global level, you have people who are purchasing properties in other countries, people, business, opening their business in other countries, being that to not just local, but international view, access to whatever resources are out there, but on a global way. Many want what you have, not just here in America. So just consider, again, starting wherever you are, making those little changes he recommended if you haven't already. As many have said in the room, they're different at different ages and stages. The homeowner, we're considering looking at a house. We're looking at, so it's different things. Because the timing is everything as well. The timing of God is the most important. But again, this life, what I found, that how God has shifted me through different things, even though I didn't understand this, now I'm starting to see it all. And with God, a lot of things manifest in time. You have to give it time. Like he said, you didn't get out and get in bed overnight, you won't get out overnight. But with God, all things work together. So when you begin to see, as you move with these and make these corrections, you will begin to see what I call, as the Bible says, the life hidden in Christ. God has a life for you that's hidden in Christ Jesus. And again, by doing His Word, reading His Word, of course, that personal relationship, you will begin to see Him move in your life and put people in your life to help you get to the next step and the next step, because you're truly never alone. So again, in closing, we want to conclude the Let's Connect. We hope that you grab some nugget that you can take with you and make that one change. It all starts with one step. One piece of knowledge, applying it consistently and watching the change occur, and then the next, and then the next. So again, God bless everyone for attending. Pray that your day continues to be a kingdom resurrection moment.